Good morning, everyone. Someone once asked the Rabbi, we know in Judaism the right side is always the more important, significant side. We're supposed to do things with the right hand, especially a mitzvah. Why is it, he asked the Rabbi, that God created the human being with the heart on their left side? Wouldn't it have been more appropriate for the heart to be placed on the right side of the body? And the Rabbi said to this person, if your heart was created for yourself, it would be a great question. Why did God not put it on the right side of the body? But because your heart was created for the person standing in front of you, God put it on their right side. This week's Torah portion begins the story of Abraham, the first Jew. And we know that he was the paradigm, the quintessential personification of the characteristic and the attribute of chesed. Chesed is undeserved loving kindness. Not just kindness that you do for your family or friends, but kindness for complete strangers. And the story that opens this week's Torah portion is Abraham sitting by the door of his tent, convalescing after having had a circumcision at the age of 99. And God comes to visit Abraham to see how he's doing, to visit the sick. When suddenly Abraham sees three strangers walking down the path towards his home. And Abraham says to God, please wait here a moment. And he runs to the three strangers and he says, please come into my home, be my guest. Let me give you something to eat and a place to relax on your journey, and then you will continue on your way. And that's what Abraham does. He welcomes the guests into his house, runs into the tent to tell Sarah, we have guests. They prepare a meal, and Abraham serves his guests. And the power of this story is that here Abraham is talking to God himself, having a conversation with Hashem. And yet he tells God, wait here. I have something more important to do. I need to tend to these three strangers, these guests who are passing by my home. And our rabbis say what we learn from here is that when there are people who need your service, no matter who you're talking to, even if you're talking to God himself, it's more important to help those in need. As our rabbis say, Gedola hachnasat orchim, greater is the mitzvah of hospitality, of welcoming guests into your home, than even receiving the divine presence itself. There's a story told about this Jew who got stranded in a town right before Shabbat, and he didn't have a place to go. So he found the home of a Jewish person, and he went to him, knocked on his door, and he said, I got stuck here in town, I don't have where to be for Shabbat, can I be your guest for Shabbat? The man said, of course you can. He said, but there's one condition. He said, what? He said, I charge $250 to be my guest for Shabbat. I give you room and board, and I also give you food. The man had nowhere to stay, he had no choice. He thought it was very odd for the man to charge him to be his guest, but he said, fine, I'll pay you the $250. Takes him into his home, he shows him his bedroom, he says, here are the towels. He shows him the kitchen, he says, here's the refrigerator. Anything you want. He opens the fridge, he says, take whatever you like, it's all included. And he says, anything you see on the oven, any food for Shabbat, you could just help yourself. And he says, you're my guest, make yourself at home. The man has a wonderful Shabbos. After Shabbos, he's ready to leave. He goes to his host and he hands him $250. The host says, why are you giving me the money? He says, well, you told me it's $250. He said, do you think I'm really going to charge you for being my guest for Shabbat? He said, so why did you tell me it's $250? He said, because I wanted you to feel at home. I didn't want you to feel like you're a taker. I wanted you to feel like you could have anything you want in my house because you're entitled to it. I wanted you to help yourself to all the food in the fridge and on the stove and make yourself comfortable anywhere in the house. But I don't want your money. It was my honor to be your host. Being a good host means making your guests feel at home, making them feel that there's nothing that makes you happier, nothing more important to you than tending to their needs. You know, sometimes when you have a guest for Shabbat dinner or during the week, they'll bring a bottle of wine or a box of chocolates or some kind of a gift. And sometimes you could just put it on the shelf. But the right thing to do is, during the meal, take it out and put it on the table, open up the bottle of wine and say, so-and-so brought this beautiful bottle of wine, let's enjoy it. And compliment the wine, because like this, the guest doesn't feel like they're just a taker. They feel like they've contributed and they're participated. And that's the secret of being a good host. Not just making your guest feel like they are the takers, but like they are the givers because they're giving you the opportunity to host them. Have a wonderful day.